Something doesn't add up. A man stands in front of a crowd, his voice shaking with anger and urgency, and says, "Show me your papers, prove this is your country."
You are foreigners.
Not to foreigners,
because
but to
you have nothing to show.
To people who believe they belong.
You go
and
around
like
claiming
that,
this is your country. Let's go outside to show me papers that confirms you are the owner of this country. There is nothing, you don't own anything, yet you call people foreigners. You are a foreigner yourself because you do not own.
Deep into identity, history, and power. And
foreigners means
visitors.
Visitors are people who just come empty-handed
subscribe to stay updated.
With a small bag.
Stories like this don't just
when the time permits, they go. A foreigner is a person who comes into your country without papers, doesn't have anything to show. That includes you. You are foreigners because you have nothing to show. You go around claiming this is your country. Let's go outside, show me papers that confirms you are the owner of this country. There is nothing, you don't own anything, yet you call people foreigners. You are a foreigner yourself because you do not own. Foreigners means visitors. Visitors are people who just come empty-handed with a small bag. When the time permits, they go. That's you. You are renting. You are marching from the hostels, beating up people that they must leave South Africa. Yet you do not own a hostel. You are paying a rent in that hostel. You can be removed yourself from that hostel. You are telling people to leave your country. You come from an apartment, you come from a flat, you come from a house, you have no paper. When you return back home after taking out Zimbabweans, the white man will be at the door showing you the way out of the rented flat, out of the rented house, out of the rented apartment. You have nothing to show. Yet you claim this is your country. You have nothing. You are defending a white man's property. This South Africa is owned by a white man. This South Africa is controlled by the white man. Don't tell me this is your country. When people are burning buildings, you are rushing, protecting them. Those are not your buildings. Those are white man's buildings. You have nothing. Stop hating on your future employers. These people are going to hire you. They are the most polite people. Even when they are educated, they still work for small jobs that pay nothing. They don't have pride. They know that you have to work to serve and feed your families. That's why they are here. One day, like it almost happened in Cuba when Obama wanted to lift the embargo against Cuba, one day it is going to happen. I pray to the ancestors of the revolution that it happens when I'm still alive, so that I can replay these videos and say, I warned you about harassing your future employers. I warned you about exploiting the people who are going to share their land with you because they've done it before.
The voice behind this speech belongs to Julius Malema, a figure who has built his political career on bold, often controversial statements. As the leader of the economic freedom fighters, Malema is no stranger to confrontation. But this time, his message wasn't just political, it was personal. South Africa has long struggled with waves of xenophobic violence. Foreign nationals, particularly from other African countries like Zimbabwe, Nigeria, and Mozambique, have repeatedly been targeted. Shops looted, homes burned, lives lost. And every time it happens, the justification sounds familiar. They don't belong here. But Malema's speech flips that logic on its head. He challenges the very definition of who belongs and who doesn't. He questions the authority of those claiming ownership over a country built on a complex, painful history of colonization, displacement, and apartheid. And that's where this story begins to deepen. Because this isn't just about immigration. It's about identity. It's about history. And it's about who gets to decide the rules. The events leading up to this speech are critical. In recent months, tensions in South Africa had been rising again. Social media was flooded with videos of confrontations between locals and foreign nationals. Some groups began organizing movements aimed at removing undocumented migrants. Protests turned aggressive. In some areas, businesses owned by foreigners were specifically targeted. Officials issued statements calling for calm, but enforcement was inconsistent. Some leaders condemned the violence. Others remained silent. And in that silence, something dangerous began to grow. Then came the turning point. Malema took the stage. At first, it seemed like another political address. But within moments, the tone shifted. His words became sharper, more direct. He didn't just speak about xenophobia. He confronted it head-on. He asked a question that few had dared to ask publicly. Who among you can prove this land is yours? And just like that, the crowd was forced into an uncomfortable position. Because in a country where land ownership has historically been shaped by colonial laws and apartheid policies, documentation isn't just paperwork, it's a reminder of injustice. What happened next raised serious questions. Julius Malema didn't defend illegal immigration. He didn't dismiss concerns about economic pressure or unemployment. Instead, he redirected the conversation. He pointed out that many South Africans themselves lack formal documentation of land ownership, that millions live on land their ancestors were pushed onto, without legal recognition, that the very system used to label others as foreigners is built on historical exclusion. And then came the line that struck the deepest. You are also foreigners because you have nothing to show. But here's where things get disturbing. This statement didn't just challenge xenophobia, it exposed a deeper insecurity. A fear that belonging isn't as solid as people believe. That identity, in many ways, is still unsettled. The reaction was immediate. Some people praised Malema, calling his speech brave and necessary. They saw it as a wake-up call, a reminder that division only weakens society, that targeting other Africans ignores the shared struggles across the continent. Others were furious. Critics accused him of deflecting from real issues. They argued that illegal immigration places strain on public services, increases competition for jobs, and contributes to crime. For them, Malema's speech wasn't helpful, it was inflammatory. And this is the part few people are talking about. Both sides are reacting to real fears. On one side, there's economic frustration, high unemployment, limited opportunities, a sense that resources are already stretched thin. On the other side, there's fear of exclusion, of being treated as outsiders in a place where borders were often drawn without consent, of being blamed for problems they didn't create. And in the middle of it all is a political landscape that hasn't fully addressed either concern. Let's break down what this means. Socially, the speech forces a conversation about identity. It challenges the idea that nationality alone defines belonging. It raises questions about shared African identity versus national boundaries. Politically, it puts pressure on leaders, because ignoring xenophobia is no longer an option, but neither is ignoring the frustrations fueling it. Economically, the issue is even more complex. Foreign nationals often fill gaps in informal sectors. They run small businesses. They create networks that support trade across borders. But they also compete in markets where locals are struggling to survive. So when tensions rise, it's not just about anger, it's about survival. But survival built on division rarely leads anywhere good. What happened after the speech only added to the tension. Clips of Malema's words spread rapidly online. Some were edited, taken out of context, or amplified to provoke stronger reactions. Social media became a battleground of opinions. Supporters shared the message as a call for unity. Opponents used it as proof that leadership is disconnected from reality. Meanwhile, reports of isolated incidents continued. Not widespread escalation, but enough to keep the issue alive. enough to remind everyone that the situation remains fragile. And here's where things become even more complicated. There is no simple solution. Stronger border control alone won't fix underlying economic issues. And promoting unity without addressing unemployment won't reduce resentment. The real question is, what happens next? Government responses are likely to focus on enforcement, identifying undocumented migrants, tightening regulations, increasing oversight in affected areas. But enforcement without trust can escalate tensions. There may also be calls for dialogue. Community leaders, civil society groups, and political figures pushing for conversations that go beyond blame. Yet dialogue takes time. And time is something volatile situations don't always allow. Legal processes could come into play if tensions escalate. Arrests, investigations, court cases. But those are reactions, not solutions. And through it all, one thing remains clear. This speech didn't create the problem. It exposed it. It forced people to confront uncomfortable truths about belonging, ownership, and identity. It challenged narratives that have gone unexamined for too long. But it also left questions unanswered. If documentation defines belonging, what about those historically denied it? If nationality defines identity, what about shared heritage across borders? If economic pressure fuels frustration, who is responsible for creating opportunity? And perhaps the most unsettling question of all, if everyone is demanding proof of belonging, who gets to decide what proof is enough? Because once that question is opened, it doesn't just apply to foreigners. It applies to everyone. And that's why this moment matters. Not because of one speech, not because of one politician, but because of what it reveals about a nation still grappling with its past while trying to define its future. As the conversation continues, the risk is not just division, it's escalation. Words can calm tensions, but they can also ignite them. And in a situation this sensitive, every statement carries weight. So now the question shifts to you. Do you see this speech as a necessary truth or a dangerous provocation? Is it a call for unity or a distraction from deeper issues? And most importantly, what does it really mean to belong? Because until that question is answered, this story is far from over.